Also, can we talk about how with the Strand element subclass, nobody predicted that. I think we all predicted some kind of. I mean, we got the color right, green. I think we all kind of predicted it'd be green. I don't know why, but we just did. But we all assumed it would be
poison.
like a thorn, poison, corrupt. Because Bungie were kind of they were putting a lot of elements in the game, but then not a single person predicted. It's kind of like a Doctor Strange, like just pull out weird projections and portals and
energy,
psychic.
right?
But that is nobody predicted that at all.
That's so true. They kept that grapple hook under wraps.
Yeah.
It's a miracle that didn't leak. I personally saw quite a few leaks. They were inescapable. Like I saw like the Strand as a leak even
against your will. I'm sure. So someone held you down and forced you to look.
They were just
every moment of it.
If you're on social media, the leaks are just impossible to avoid.
Oh yeah.
But like no one guessed or even leaked the actual grapple hook mechanic. To me, that was the biggest surprise. Neptune was a big surprise too, but the fact that you can use the grapple mechanic, I don't think that leaked anywhere. So congrats to Bungie for somehow keeping that one under wraps.
But also, oh no, sorry, continue.
Sorry, dude. Yeah.
No, go on. I was about to cut you off.
I was just going to say, as we're talking about Strand, which of the classes did you think looked the most interesting with their Strand abilities?
Ooh,
because I personally I think Hunter. What do you even call that weapon? Like the rope with the little
it looks cool. That
looks so like visually. I don't know if it's going to actually play that well. I'm sure it will, but visually it looks so interesting. What kind of got you going? Like, what got you most hyped? Or which class?
I'm always one for Warlock, but we've got the descriptions of all of them on Bungie.net. So for context, the Warlock subclass is called the Architect. The Hunters are called Thread Runners, which again, very Blade Runner-esque by the sounds of it.
Yeah,
the Titans are called Tyrants, and
right.
all of them work into this same ability. But I'm still sitting there with the Warlock one that I absolutely love because. The description's fantastic. It's architects effortlessly manipulate the weave using only their mind. From the backline, these telekinetic sorcerers can even twist Strand into sentient creatures to do their bidding. So it's like...
I love it, mate. I love it when you get into it.
But like, think about what that says, right? Does that mean we can like summon pets and creatures?
That's the one thing that I was like, what does that mean? Is it like, are you summoning some like demon things that like pop up? That could be cool. Or can you kind of take over an enemy? I don't know. Like a cheeky little dreg, get him to do your bidding.
And dude, you know what's crazy? We've had that before in Destiny 1 and Rise of Iron with the artifacts, right? So like, it's not at all unprecedented. Like the tech is totally there.
Yeah, what was
Remind
it?
me of that in Destiny 1?
It was an artifact. I forget what it's called, but what was it? Punch melee an enemy and then you can turn them friendly. Like, and they went. It was Rise of Iron. It was towards the end.
Yeah.
And no one really used it because there were, the sprint cooldown. Everyone used that or the sharing super ones. But
scories.
Do you think this might be an evolution of that then, where you get full control, or you have better control, or you can actually form something completely different out of thin air?
I have no idea, but I'm really excited to see what they do with it because just the idea alone is so cool. And it's totally fitting with the idea of like, if you want a deeper like gear and loadout game with Destiny, like 100%, this is totally another direction they can pull stuff in. And for Warlock, at very least, it's definitely the right class to go ahead and build it on.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think it might be a Hunter bias, but the second I saw, I mean, the others just looked kind of like, you just shoot green stuff, but the Hunter's like got this chain with a hook on it and he's like spinning it around. That looks really good. And
it just looked cool. Like, forget how it plays. It just looked fucking cool.
I instantly saw that and I was like, I played a lot of Warlock recently, but that was like, I think I'll probably play Hunter for that, to be honest. And also, didn't they say that the grappling hook was initially just for Hunters and they were like, this is so good, we need to just give it to all the other classes?
Oh, really? Interesting.
100%.
Yeah, they said that earlier on, the grappling hook was just a thing for Hunters. And then they were like, this is too fun. We need to make this a thing for all the classes. This needs to be a subclass wide thing. So
there would be too much salt if only the Hunter had that. Everyone would be like, hang on a minute, why have you made this character, have a completely new way to maneuver around and not the others. So it makes sense that they gave it to all three, because it just would have been wrong keeping it to one character. I'm glad all three classes can be swinging around Spider-Man styly on a new planet. That just sounds fun to me.
Oh yeah, 100%. And it totally is like Spider-Man as well, because even in the trailer they're web slinging through the big high-rise towers. God, that's so cool.
Spider-Man
vibes. It looks so fun. It just looks so good.
Do we think it's going to be crazily OP and have everyone complaining for the next year like Stasis, or do we think it's going to be reasonably balanced? I personally think it's going to be crazy OP. I, for some reason, envision, can we grapple in the Crucible? Do we know that?
That's the question. That is the big question.
Because if so, that would be the new freezing people, which is just this game breaking. If there's grappling around Crucible, but I can't imagine it not. I mean, unless it is tied to PvE or Neptune. But do we think Strand is going to break Crucible, or just the game in general?
It might purposely break it at first, and then like Stasis did, and then they nerf it. Like they go, okay, here's some OP powers, have fun with it. And now we've got all the complaints in. Let's nerf that. What do you reckon, Bife?
Yeah, I'm in complete agreement with the idea generally. I think no grappling, purely because of the fact that there are so many spots at which you can hang outside of a map, and if you can just get to them, like when crazy movement techs made their way into the game at different points. Players proved if you just let us get up to these different places, we will ruin the game from up here in these different places or from outside the map here. So 100%, I think there's no grapple in Crucible. We'd need confirmation from Bungie, of course, but yeah, I'd say that there's definitely a chance that Strand is OP at start, because that is very much the running trend. You insert something strong so that people can have fun with it, and then you balance things out as time goes on. Because
Vex Mythoclast, hi, Destiny 1. Do you remember that, Vex Mythoclast?
Oh my god.
Where everyone was just like, what is this? I never got it. Like, you didn't get it for ages. It was like
Oh yeah, let's not remind Vive. Let's not bring this up. You just brought up some trauma.
Can we talk about that for a second? When I got it, Oki had gotten 25 mythos, and I had 0. And you, sir, you jumped into the final boss at last minute and got yours to drop without doing anything. You were a ghost.
I stole your Vex Mythoclast. But the thing is, I got the nerfed version. I never owned the, oh my god, I'm melting everyone in one shot version, which I remember seeing going, I'm never getting that.
Yeah, I think it was only around for 2 weeks or something.
Do you think they do that on purpose? They just add something in, make it super OP, let the hardcore get it, enjoy it, and then the casuals can come along later and be like, okay, we've got the watered down version of it.
I absolutely think it's deliberate. Maybe. You go by.
Yeah, they definitely want things to launch strong. I think that there's definitely also the point of which saying their QA team is only so big, and Destiny has literally millions of players within its player base now. So it's very easy for people to suddenly reveal hey, this is actually way OP. And also it may have been the thing that, QA team knew that it was strong prior to that, and just wasn't able to go ahead and get that sorted in time for a patch because there's limited resources, and triage is totally a thing. But launching an exotic being strong is almost always better from an experience in PvE and PvP when it comes down to the people who actually get it, and it makes it more iconic in many of those moments. And you can always reel it back with patches. That's the joy of live game.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Maybe not.
I feel as if players want to break the game, they will break the game.
100%.
There are speedrunners, there are glitch enthusiasts. They're just people out there that will it's their job in life, it's their goal in life to break the game in kind of fun and fantastic ways. And I used to do that myself, do the whole glitch. I was kind of quite heavily involved in the glitch scene. They were just fun. So go ahead, break the game. Bungie will patch it at some point.
I don't think they would deliberately want to release stuff that is just, not a good player experience, or just broken, or deliberately, make their game something that people would get really, really bent out of shape for. But I think if they're going to lean on okay, we can either lean on the weaker side or the OP side, they're always going to, especially when it launches, because you got to think about, the casual player base they're trying to make buy this expansion. If they hear about, oh, have you heard this crazy new stasis? It's all everyone's talking about. At the end of the day, it is just kind of marketing. Like everyone that's talking about how much they hate it, another person will be like, oh, that actually sounds kind of fun. I might actually buy this expansion just to try it out. So what you see people complain on Reddit and Twitter about doesn't necessarily reflect the whole player base of people that would be like, yeah, that's pretty fun. Whereas, you know, some people would complain and say, this is unplayable. I refuse to play. This is, you know, and they get really, really frustrated about it. Whereas to other people, they just kind of, a lot more casual players, I don't think they really care that much. And it might even help draw them in if they hear about this crazy, you know, if there's a bunch of videos and everyone's talking about this crazy new Strand subclass, it probably makes them more likely to try it. So they would definitely have an incentive to want to make it good. You're not going to release a whole new subclass, have all this resources and time and money into it, and it just be mid. Like, you want it to be lean on the good side, and then, you know, they can always patch it later. I think that's probably their protocol, I would imagine, as a non-game developer.
Yeah. You want to be Green Spider-Man, right? That's what you want to be. You want to be Green Spider-Man and then have your fun and then see how it goes from there.